who has an idea of who a pen tester is? Anyone wants to try? Hi. Good afternoon. How are you today?
So, I'm doing good, and you? Oh, okay.
So first of all, your question is who a pen tester is?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so a pen tester is an individual, a cyber expert who tests the security of a system, let's say a network system or a web application system.
Yeah, awesome. That's a correct definition. Does anyone has a more in-depth definition for us? Okay, so our speaker is set. So once again, we'll be talking about open source intelligence in Nigeria, and our speaker is Oluwole. Oluwole, over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I wonder why there always has to be some sort of time, but hopefully I would, I've been able to have it resolved and we wouldn't have this issue anymore. So today we'll be talking about OSINT. OSINT stands for Open Source Information, Intelligence rather, pardon me. And we'll be talking about open source intelligence in Nigeria. And after which I will just be showing a quick demo of an OSINT tool to find leads using a Nigerian phone number. Because right now there is no tool out there, I mean, at least in the public space and space, that allows you to, carry out this kind of OSINT analysis. So that's exactly what we'll be talking about. Hopefully, I know we have a very short time. I'll be able to talk about OSINT in Nigeria, OSINT generally, also quickly show us a demo of the tool. So I'm trying to share my screen now, and I would need permission for me to do that. The call. Yes, share my screen. Great. Please indicate if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, thank you. Just one moment. Let me hide this. Okay, fantastic. I hope everyone can see my screen. If you can't, just raise your hand or leave a comment in the section so I know we are all on the same page. So today we'll be talking about open source intelligence in Nigeria. My name is Olakanmi Oluwole, and a bit about me. I'm a pen tester, I'm a software engineer, and this is a disclaimer. I am not a full-time OSINT analyst. I consider myself to be more of an offensive security engineer. So what that means is I'm on the offensive side of pen test. So I would rather always engage in anything offensive. And so yes, I am not a full-time OSINT analyst. This is just me coming up with, seeing a problem and trying to solve it using OSINT. There might be people on the call who are more vast than I am in this subject matter. I think a couple of OSINT analysts should also be on the call themselves. So please feel free to interrupt me. Feel free to correct me. Feel free to ask me questions while while I'm talking, so that we try to make best use of the time. So quick table of content. So we're talking about OSINT itself, OSINT tools, then OSINT in Nigeria, and then demo. This happened a while back during Panama Papers. So Panama Papers then was a case where some documents got exposed, and we saw a list of people who were tax defaulters, basically, running away from paying their tax. And this is a quote from one of the investigators. They said that so many African leaders in the Panama Papers, I should have responded to those Nigerian emails. And I mean, this also tells you to point to the direction of the current case, where we have so many cyber frauds happening right now. And one way by which you can track these guys is using OSINT, something just like this. We saw that case of where the Dubai police also used OSINT to, track and gather information from social media. Some of those are what we'll be talking about today. So open source intelligence is data and information that is collected legally from open and publicly available sources. There is information all around us. Everything you are looking for is out there. You just have to look hard enough. I mean, if you are looking for information regarding something somewhere, there is usually something out there. It just depends on how well and how determined you are to, go out there and search hard enough for this information. So who uses open source intelligence? Forensic investigators, private investigators, fraud investigators, law enforcement agencies, intelligence organization, HR professionals, the military, tracing agents and commercial enterprise, IT security professionals, and also cyber criminals. You cannot take that away from anybody. So, I mean, we have a number of people who are already versed with the use of OSINT. So what are the sources of open source? When we mean public domain, we're talking about things like the mass and multimedia space. So, I mean, TV, radio, newspaper, magazines, photos, videos, those are mass and multimedia sources. Government sources also is another source of open source intelligence, where you can find public record databases, reports, documents, websites. And I mean, ultimately, the internet is also another source: social media, blogs, forum, maps, commercial imagery, and you also have the dark web. In fact, the truth is you have more information on the dark web than you actually have on the open net, like I tried to call it, on the internet. So on the dark net, there are marketplaces, forums, discussion boards, directories, blogs, etc. And most times, when information is taken or is collected, they go down to the dark web to, sell this information. And it is actually a very, very rich source for finding open source data, and also even personal, data and things like that. So aside OSINT, OSINT is just one component of a bigger intelligence collection tool. So aside OSINT, I mean, there are other intelligence collection components such as UMINT, SIGINT, GeoINT. So UMINT, for example, is known as human intelligence, and this is the actual gathering of real information from human sources. Sometimes interrogation can also be classified under UMINT. So I mean, meeting people, talking with them, social engineering also falls under UMINT. Having that interaction, all to draw out information from humans. That's what UMINT is all about. SIGINT itself is signals, and is the method of intercepting signals or communication transmitted electronically, like radars, radios, or weapon system. Earlier this week, the UK carried out a mass operation where they were able to intercept connections between encrypted phones, thousands of people. I mean, and that was how they were able to, break a gang of fraudsters and crime, organized crime, basically, because they were able to, read in on their secure communication channel, basically. So I mean, it wasn't secure as they thought it was. So that is another way of collecting intelligence. GeoInt is another way of collecting intelligence, and it's the selection of imagery and geospatial intelligence, basically. So this one personally, even while I was, putting together this talk, I was at the beach. This slide, actually, I was at the beach, and while I was at the beach, there was this carrier boat that, that was passing by, basically. And what I did, I just took a picture. I took a picture of the boat because of open source information. I went online, started looking for information, had enough. And before the boat left my site, I already knew who owned the boat, where it was coming from, where it's going to. And the funny thing is, you can even literally track the location of this boat. I mean, this is something useful on both ends, for good and for fun, or for profit also. But I mean, it shows you the extent to which information is out there, and you just have to look hard enough to get what you're looking for. SMINT is another intelligence collection component, and it means social media intelligence. So this is basically, gathering information from social media platforms to further the knowledge of the person. So if you want to know more about someone, SMINT is what, and to be honest, it's something we do every day. You see someone on social media, you quickly take a look at maybe their page, who are they following, just trying to know more about that person, is what SMINT is. We also have MASINT, which is measurements and signature intelligence. Is the utilization of intelligence to, generate reports of targets. An example is seen in the telemetry of missiles. To discover missiles, basically, it's what MASINT is using. I mean, we've seen it mass scale in countries like Israel, USA, Russia, and the rest of, other countries, basically, like that. This is what they use in missile telemetry. So if you are really into military, if you like military stuff, you would understand what I'm talking about here. IMINT is another way, and it's the creation of images through electronic means, just for the purpose of collecting intelligence. Yeah, so that's that regarding the other components, intelligence collection components. So generally, if you are going to perform OSINT on a target, on an individual, there are tools out there that you can use. There are so many tools. Some tools are already out there for the public to use. Some tools are, more private and exclusive to law enforcement agencies, enterprises, SOCs and the likes. So, but I mean, for general purpose, some tools you can use to perform OSINT analysis. So if you're going to perform website analysis, there are tons of tools out there. I literally just listed my favorites. And if you want to find more tools out there, you can, always check out GitHub, osintessentials.com. You find tons of tools there. So website analysis, you have DOMI, DNS Lytics, Voice, follow that page, FluxGuard, and the rest. So this is for monitoring. Here you have metadata, to find information about images, who took this image, what location was it taken from, with which smartphone or which camera. Those are what EXIF metadata readers helps you to find. So reverse image searches, you can do things like that on Yandex, Google, or TinEye. TinEye is my favorite on this particular list. You have people search if you're looking for people, phone and email, phone infoga192.com, what phone number, Hunter, email rep. So on this list, Hunter is my favorite, especially when you're doing email recalls. We Hunter, the possibilities are endless. You can, find emails that match a particular pattern. You can find emails that have been pawned. You can find emails that, starts with. You can basically specify whatever you want during your OSINT analysis and recon process. Phone Infoga, who gets is similar to Phone Infoga, but Phone Infoga is more on a wider scale, and it uses is really heavy on Google Docs. When we get to the Huget demonstration, you would understand more about that. Maps, map tools, aviation. You can take pictures. I'm still going to share this slide for anyone interested, so you can, see these tools and look them up yourself in case you're interested in using them. Okay, yeah. So how did I find that boat? I think what I used was, okay, on the map here, one of my favorites is travel with drones. With travel with drones, you find drones basically taking pictures, and making videos of certain areas. OpenStreetMap are also similar. Map tools. Aviation, with aviation, you see, live flights currently happening. While lockdown was happening, we said most countries were like, okay, we've played band on our airspace. We don't want people flying around not to spread the COVID-19 virus everywhere. But when this was actually said, I was always looking at the live updates, and I was seeing flights. I'm asking myself, you are saying flights are banned, but I can literally see tons of flights coming in and out of Nigeria daily with flight numbers, where are they coming from, where are they going to, the plane models and things like that. And yet, you tell us that, there's no flights. That's another usage. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, you can find tons of tools when it comes to social media platforms. There are so many tools out there that you can use. Instagram, image analysis, maritime, webcams, video tools, browser add-ons. There are so many tools out there that you can literally use. Literally for everything you want to do, every kind of analysis, chances are that someone has done something regarding that, and you can pick them, study the tools, and use them to your taste. Okay, these are still some more: Snapchat, archiving, Reddit, 4chan, Wikipedia, and some other things. Okay, so for miscellaneous information, you find things like weapons ID. So for every bullet, for every gun, you can actually even find, where is it coming from? Who is the legal sales person for this weapon, and things like that. So many things. LinkedIn also, there's so many tools like that. So these are just few out of thousands. There are so many tools out there. You can find them on GitHub, security blogs, private companies, intelligence organizations, dark web, and so many others. So yeah, for this is what we'll be talking about, today also, open source in Nigeria, and how we can do open source intelligence in Nigeria, and how we can do better. But before I continue, I just want to make sure everyone is on the same page. Do we have any questions, any interruptions, any corrections? Feel free to shoot at me. So if you have questions so far, you could just chat them, send them to Sadiq, So when we are done, is going to, relay your questions. So, I mean, we've seen a few people do interesting stuff using open source intelligence, but it's still a field where we need more people to come in and, put work out. We've seen where people used open source intelligence to track Boko Haram tactics. In the last election, we've seen where people used open source and social media data to forecast Nigeria decides, using tweets and conversations from social media. This was even seen on a bigger scale in the US with Cambridge Analytica. Then the really interesting one for me on this list was tracking down a Nigerian scammer using OSINT. This was done by two people. I followed them and I saw their work. This was a while ago, and I was like, okay, this is interesting. So what they did was someone tried to scam someone, and two security researchers. One is a Nigerian, the other isn't. They basically, started taking clues from pictures and trying to track back who the original scammer was using open source intelligence, what they could find from pictures, from picture metadata, from information, social media pages, and things like that. And then the last one on this list happened a few weeks ago, investigating Nigerian scammer running a Kenyan scheme. So a cybersecurity team in Kenya was able to uncover a scam scheme going on in Kenya, especially going rampant on WhatsApp and Facebook. So what they did was they tracked, the voice, IP, everything they could get their hands on, and they were able to get a phone number, a Nigerian phone number, eventually from the voice. So apparently, the scammer, bought a couple of domains, and he forgot or he doesn't know. I really don't know, but from checking out the voice data, they were able to retrieve a phone number. They couldn't call the phone number for some reason. So what I did was, and that was literally the end of their investigation. So what I did was I took the phone number and I used Whoget, and I was able to generate some leads. So I eventually found out that this Nigerian scammer running a Kenyan scheme lives in the eastern part of Nigeria. I'm not going to mention the states just so you don't say people from these states are doing this. So you found that that was a whole investigation process, showing what you can do with OSINT purely from open source intelligence, data that is already out there. You just have to gather it and make sense out of it. So in case you want to read this, what I would do is maybe send some links, or maybe eventually it's in the slide, but I'm not presentation mode, so I wouldn't be able to just copy and paste them into the chat directly. So you can find them in the slides. I'll put them on speaker deck and share them later on. Yeah, so in Nigeria, where do you get data? If there's anything we can agree on collectively, especially as security researchers, as developers, is that, data is scarce. Data is scarce in Nigeria. So but so far so good. There are still a few places where you can go to find data. So if you go to the A Library of the National Bureau of Statistics, you find a lot of data there. The good thing is some of these sources already allow you open access to an API, or they allow you download a CSV format where you can now take process on your own. Some of these sources have already been converted to an API that you can just call from whatever language you're using. So the Nigerian data portal on the Open Data for Africa is another source So if you really like the money business and CBN operations, banking, fintech, CBN has the statistics database also. Energydata.info has good amount of data also that you can work with, depending on what you want to do. Nigerian market data, also has another set of data sets that you can use. And the good